Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to get really practical. We're moving beyond the textbooks and the theory to see how business analysis creates actual, measurable value out there in the real world. So let's just dive right in. I'm sure you've heard this one before, right? It's this super common idea that a business analyst's job is basically to be a glorified scribe, just sitting in a corner, churning out paperwork. But honestly, that's not even close to the whole story. The truth is, a great BA is so much more. They're a detective, they're a diplomat, a strategist, all rolled into one. And their main job? It's to solve the real problem. So today, we're going to look at three very different real-world examples that just completely blow that old myth out of the water. Okay, for our first story, picture this. A big online retailer. They've got a great-looking website, they've got awesome products, and they're pouring money into ads, so traffic is high, but sales, totally flat. And you can bet leadership is starting to get pretty antsy. So, what's the first instinct from the top? The site must be boring. Let's just add more features, more shiny things. But a skilled BA knows you can't just take orders at face value. No, they have to dig deeper. They ask why. And in this case, the real problem had absolutely nothing to do with a lack of features. So how'd they figure it out? Well, the BA basically put on their data detective hat. First, they started tracking the entire customer journey, clicking through the site, looking at all the analytics. And that's where they found the smoking gun. A massive number of people were happily adding stuff to their cart, and then poof, they'd vanish right on the payment page. So the recommendation wasn't for more bells and whistles. It was for a total redesign of that broken checkout process. And the result of all that detective work? This one beautiful number. A 30% increase in their conversion rate. Let that sink in. Not 3%, 30. That is huge. This chart right here says it all. By focusing on the real problem, a clunky checkout, instead of just building what they were asked for, the BA delivered a solution that directly pumped a massive amount of money into the company's bottom line. Now that is tangible value. All right, let's switch gears and jump into a totally different industry. We're in a hospital now. There's a big department, and they're dealing with crazy long wait times for patients. The staff is completely burnt out, and of course, the patients are getting more and more frustrated by the day. And just like our e-commerce story, what's the knee-jerk solution everyone jumps to? Technology will fix it. We need to buy expensive new software. But the BA on this project knew that if you put brand new software on top of a broken process, well, you just get a faster broken process. So instead of jumping into software requirements, this BA acted more like a process architect. They started by drawing a blueprint of how things worked right now, the as-is process. They found all the bottlenecks, all the weird manual workarounds, and then, and this is so key, they got everyone in a room together, the nurses, the doctors, the admin staff, and they all designed the new, better process, the 2B, as a team. And what happens when you fix the human workflow first, before you even think about the tech? You get this, a 40% reduction in patient wait times. Just incredible. You can just see the difference here. The BA's real value wasn't about software at all. It was about redesigning how people work together. And that led to a way better experience for patients and, honestly, a huge sigh of relief for the overworked staff. Okay, for our last story, we're diving into the high-stakes, fast-paced world of a fintech startup. They've got this cool new mobile payment app they're trying to launch, but the whole project has just slammed on the brakes. Why? Because of some really serious legal and security red flags. So the problem here wasn't a hidden process issue, it was a communication breakdown, a total standoff. You had the legal team over here speaking a different language about regulations. You had the developers over here totally confused about what they could and couldn't build. The project was dead in the water. That's when the BA stepped in to be the translator, the bridge between these two worlds. The BA's role here was to be the project's guardian. They had to take all this super complex regulatory stuff, acronyms like KYC, which is just Know Your Customer, and AML for anti-money laundering, and translate it all into plain, simple requirements the developers could actually understand and code. They made sure compliance wasn't some last-minute checklist item, but was actually baked right into the DNA of the app from day one. And the result of that translation work? The app launched, it launched on time, and it was 100% compliant and secure. The BA didn't just save the project from getting canceled, they made it possible for the company to innovate without taking on massive business-killing risks. So we've looked at three completely different scenarios: e-commerce, healthcare, fintech. What's the one thing they all have in common? It's that the true value of business analysis is so much more than just writing things down. You can really see the pattern here, can't you? In e-commerce, the BA was a data detective, and the impact was more revenue. In healthcare, they were a process architect, which created massive efficiency gains. And in fintech, they were a compliance guardian, which saved the company from huge risks. Three different roles, three different impacts, all driven by one powerful skill: the ability to find and solve the real problem. So, I want to leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your own company, your own team. What's the unspoken problem, the flawed assumption, the broken process that everyone just walks past every single day because that's just how we do things? Finding that and having the courage to fix it, that is the real value of analysis.